taking a minute to show appreciation for ghost pipe, an amazing plant that is not a fungus, it is not a mushroom. Contrary to popular belief, I do see a lot of people out foraging and saying, what a cool looking mushroom. But it's not. It's not a mushroom at all. It's a plant that lacks chlorophyll, gaining it its name, corpse plant, if you will. This plant is so spiritual. It is so much more than just medicine for the body. It is medicine for the mind, and it is medicine for the spirit. It has this planetary alignment of Pluto, which is fascinating to me. It also has an alignment with the moon and the moon's properties. The moon being childlike and vulnerable. The affinity to a Mars retrograde is pretty cool when you look at this plant, how a Mars as a planet is, and the feelings that it invokes in us as a person, and how the plant, when taken as plant medicine, will work with that scenario is so cool. It's one of these plants that we need to harvest responsibly. So if you see this elusive plant out and about in your travels, please don't take the root. No, you don't need it for medicine. You can use the aerial parts. But if you do decide to harvest this, here are a few rules. They come in clusters. Look for spots with multiple clusters. Please don't take as much as you think that you would need. Journey and walk further. Look for it. If the medicine is meant to be found, you will find it. Take only a couple, but leave most behind. So if you find a bunch of clusters and you say there's maybe 3 or 4 clusters, maybe only take a couple of them from 2 of the clusters and leave the rest and go on your journey and find more. Now, when you find a spot that has them, we don't have them locally here to me. I do travel to New England to harvest them, or my partner who lives there will harvest them for me. And the trick is to go on a hike with 2 jars or 2 containers, one with water to give a quick rinse and the other with alcohol to immediately put the plant into it. You cannot cut it and bring it home from your harvest to use later. It doesn't work. This is such a beautiful but sensitive plant. You also cannot dry it. If you dry it and you try to use it, it's not going to do anything. You've destroyed it. It won't work. It's so delicate and so specific in how we use it. It's a plant that we consider to be an ally for fear. A lot of our plant allies have different uses spiritually or emotionally, and this particular plant is an ally for us for fear. It is an ally for us for fear and uncertainty, which is pretty special. It's funny, I've found that since the pandemic, this is one of those plants that has answered the call of uncertainty and fear for many who need it. For those who need a teaching, it'll look at the stories that create the fear. For those who need a teaching, it will this medicine they'll help you to look at the stories that perpetuate the fear. Whether it's the fear of being alone or the fear of the challenges to come. It welcomes us back to our nervous system. Lets us know that we are safe within our own bodies. And when we feel like we are crazy, it lets us know that we are not. We look at our celestial bodies and know that we are not crazy. There's a lot to be said about this plant. So many uses. I'll delve into a couple. Let's start with those that use cannabis. Those that use cannabis for pain, you're looking at a 50-50 ratio that you're going to want to add in. When you're using cannabis and you say it's just not quite enough for the pain, that's when you want to introduce this herb. Finding our fears are rooted. Finding where our fears are rooted. Finding where our fears are rooted in our nervous system. Where are they coming from? Showing us how to clear those thoughts. Where are they coming from? And showing us how to clear those thoughts. We are not the ghosts of our past. Ghost Pipe helps us to realize that. You can use this for intense physical pain. You can use this for emotional pain, insomnia, anxiety, insomnia, migraines, debilitating ones, chronic headaches. There are so many uses for this incredible herb. My favorite things about it are the planetary alignments. The way that when Mars is in retrograde, it calls to this plant for us. The way that its affinity for Pluto. Pluto is that scary water, the uncertainty, the unknown mystery that exists. It's unknown within our subconscious. That unknown certainty that exists in our subconscious. Ghost Pipe is a medicine of the underneath, which when you harvest it, you'll understand. Given how it gets its life force by pulling from other plants around it rather than producing chlorophyll. There's so much more that I talk about in my blog article over on my website. Head over to my blog, bougiebatch.com, and read all about this beautiful, beautiful herb. It's a wonderful plant. Read all about this beautiful, wonderful, magical plant.